Change is inevitable. Yeah, I know. I know you're saying to yourself, duh, Sheila, because I said the same thing to myself too. But seriously, if we all know that change is a constant part of life, why do we dread it so much? Why does it scare us? And why do we resist it? I've noticed that as I'm getting older, change is even harder to deal with. So I wanted to noodle on that a little bit and try to figure out why that is. Hi, I'm Sheila Hammond. Today I want to chitty chat about why change freaks us out so much, especially as we age. Now, I have faced a lot of changes recently, so stay with me and let's figure out why change is tougher as we get older. Now, I've really never been one that shies away from change. I've always kind of embraced it. It hasn't really bothered me so much. So that's why I wanted to kind of sit here and figure out why all of a sudden is every change that's going on in my life like big drama. Big drama. So I actually believe that embracing our fears can turn them into strengths. So think about it. Resisting change is kind of like swimming against a current, right? You just swim and kick and move your arms and you just stay in the same spot. So embracing change is kind of letting go and kind of floating with the current. Now, you may not end up where you planned or where you hoped, but you'll move forward and honestly, you'll end up where you're supposed to be. So why do we do it? Why do we resist change? And why does the resistance to change only get worse? Well, we resist change because of the fear of the unknown. It's really that simple. It's freaking unsettling not knowing what lies ahead. Like 20 or so years ago when I got divorced from my first practice husband, the fear of the unknown was overwhelming. I had no clue how I was going to manage without him. I didn't know what life was going to look like living by myself. It was really daunting. And that fear nearly kept me in a situation that wasn't good for either of us, just because it felt safer to stick with what was familiar. But when I took that risk, I discovered a newfound independence and strength. It wasn't easy at all, but it allowed me time to grow in ways that I never imagined. And guess what? It led me to Doug, my amazing husband. Sometimes embracing change brings the most unexpected and wonderful outcomes. Change also makes us feel like we're losing control over our own lives. And that's because we are. When I was laid off, it's almost 7 months ago now, I felt like my world was spinning out of control. It was disorienting and it made me question my future and my stability. Those are pretty tough things to think about. And as we age, losing control feels more intense because we've spent years building routines and structures for comfort. When I was younger and got laid off, I didn't go through this struggle and fear. But the older we get, the more invested we become in our routines and our established ways of doing things. When unexpected changes occur, it disrupts this sense of order and forces us to confront the unknown, which can be particularly unsettling. Embracing change and taking small proactive steps can help us grow both personally and professionally, no matter our age. It's all about shifting the mindset from fear and resistance to seeing new opportunities and growth. Is that hard? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Change also disrupts our sense of certainty. Our brains are wired to crave predictability and stability because it makes us feel safe. One of the brain's big jobs is to keep your body safe so that your brain can continue to live. So when things change, your brain is like, whoa, 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 what the heck are you doing? I don't like this at all. This reaction is even stronger as we get older. So get ready. Another reason we resist change is that it can make us feel incompetent and inadequate. Let's be honest. It can make us feel downright dumb. Change often requires us to start over, to learn new things, and to be beginners again. So not to sound like a broken record, but I've been in the same career for 30 years, and being laid off, the change has been absolutely profound. I kept telling myself that something would come up in my old field. I just needed to be patient and wait a little bit longer. This resistance only prolonged my anxiety and uncertainty. I constantly compared myself to others who seemed to be thriving in their careers. Comparison is the thief of joy. I cannot say that enough. This made me feel inadequate, and it further fueled my resistance to change. It was hard to see everybody else's perceived successes and not feel like I was being left behind. I was questioning my own worth. I was questioning my abilities. Had some big time imposter syndrome going on. I kept telling myself it's just too late to start over. It's just too late. Over time, I had a little epiphany. I was the one that was holding myself back. I needed to take control of the chaos and start taking small proactive steps to embrace the change. Now, it wasn't easy. It still isn't. None of this is easy. But each step forward brings me closer to a new sense of purpose. This change, as challenging as it is, might just turn out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. I'll probably realize that later in the future, after I've grown from this experience. So we also resist change because it takes a tremendous amount of effort and energy. Adapting to new situations demands a lot from us mentally and physically. And as we age, this becomes even more challenging. We've spent years building habits and routines, which become second nature, and disrupting these ingrained patterns feels not only uncomfortable, but freaking exhausting. Sometimes I just don't want to adapt. I just stop the world. I want to get off. I don't feel like adapting anymore. So this resistance is natural. We all prefer to stick with what's familiar because it's less taxing on us. It's easier to continue with our well-worn routines than to muster up the energy needed to create a new one. So what can we do to get better at adapting to change? Well, I have 4 real tips for you. I wrote them down, so you write them down, print them out, do whatever you need to do to remember these because they are helpful. So are they hard to do? Absolutely. But are they doable? Even more, absolutely. So first, focus on the present moment and acknowledge your fears. Instead of worrying about what might happen, concentrate on what you can do right now. Don't ignore your fears. Face them head on. This helps manage anxiety about the future. Make small changes and start building your confidence with those. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Small, manageable steps lead to big transformations over time. So for instance, if you're looking to get healthier, start with maybe a daily walk and, maybe incorporating a little bit of fruit into your diet or something, rather than training for a marathon or starting an intense workout routine, right? Make incremental changes that can gradually build up to significant improvements. Try to stay positive and curious. Approach change with curiosity and an open mind as best you can. I know that that's hard to do. Now, this one's a doozy. It's a doozy, but if you can reframe the change as a positive opportunity, you'll find it easier to handle. And then the last one is just embrace the suck. Just embrace the suck. Understand that discomfort is a part of growth, right? It's a part of living. It's a part of life. It's a part of getting older. Personal and professional growth happens when we push through this discomfort. It's about shifting our mindset from fear and resistance to one of opportunity and growth. When we embrace change, we take control of our lives. We stop being passive participants and we become active creators of our destiny. It's empowering to know that you can adapt and thrive no matter what life throws your way. So next time you're faced with change, remember this. It's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity. That's all I have for today. See you in the next video.